Happy spring, Huskies! Welcome back to this month's edition of Husky Headlines. I'm Jack Howman.
And I'm Lily Mesmer. To start things off, Anaya tells us about the Femineers program helping a child in need.
Groups in Northwest are known to engage with our local community. For the first time, Femineers is working on a special project to create an attachment for an Oak Hill Elementary student to help him ride his bike.
So I have this special hand, and my mom and dad bought me a bike, so they're working on this thing to help me control my bike better.
We realized that he was getting old enough that his friends were riding their bikes around the park and he didn't. It's something that's kind of overwhelmed us over the years. And so we were thinking about how to adapt it for his little hand. And so it hit me like a light bulb one day that there are some extremely talented students at Blue Valley Northwest.
It's super cool. The fact that we were able to make it happen so quickly, and the fact that everybody was willing to be like, yeah, this is a challenge, let's jump on board and see what we can do.
After initially meeting with the Wiggins family, 8 Femineers students have been consistently working on the project since November of 2025. After initially making 3 design prototypes, they eventually chose 2 to focus on. Those involved in the project not only enjoy the project's engineering aspects, but also the fact that they are helping a future Northwest student.
We have 3 years of curriculum, and in all of those, it's about learning something and then applying it to an open-ended problem. Being able to be like, yeah, I've got a problem and I can work with other people to solve that. The fact that we have a real human that's benefiting, that just makes it even better.
I went to Oak Hill, and I think it is so great that he wants to be able to just ride his bike, and I want to make sure that he's able to do that so he can play with his friends or whatever he wants to do and not let his hand stop him, because there's no reason it should.
After finalizing initial prototypes, the Femineers will have met with John Silas 3 times to try them out and make the necessary adjustments to the prototype. As they continued to work, they looked forward to seeing John Silas take the bike out from the halls of BV&W to the sidewalk.
I think that the ability for them to see him and talk with him and then remember being 8 and how important that is, all of those things made it more purposeful than just a problem to solve.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to his excitement, but also we have a lot of younger kids come to the showcase, and I hope that can show them how engineering can be incredibly helpful in the world and how they can make a difference just themselves by doing something like this.
He was so excited about the fact that he learned how to ride his bike, and he was riding his bike.
I'm excited to turn him loose, just to see how much fun he has, and for him to be able to have the confidence to go, you know what, I can do this without anybody around.
The Femineers will unveil their final designs at their showcase on May 4th before handing them over to John Silas for his summer bike rides. This is Anaya Zaman for Husky Headlines.
Wow, they really made an impact on the community.
Yes, they did. Next, we go to Rama, who tells us about another student using her voice to change the world through her TEDx speech.
A spotlight, a stage, and one idea shared in front of people. At this year's TEDx-style student talk taking place on March 6th at Olathe North High School, speakers took the stage turning personal experiences into powerful messages.
It's really interesting to see all of these amazing high schoolers from around our area come together to talk about a cause. In my seat, I was just I was getting motivated by all the speakers.
But moments like these don't happen overnight.
The ability to speak in front of another human being, an opportunity that most people don't get beyond a classroom presentation.
Just really since middle school, liked getting in front of a crowd and talking. That kind of spiked a passion.
I just know what I have to hit, and I can do that on my own way, on my own flow. To get up there and get on that stage was that this was something I had an experience with, and though I was getting vulnerable with the crowd, I knew it was for a good cause.
From practice to performance, each speaker brings their own approach, but all share the same goal, making their message heard.
There's a big difference between someone who can just speak well and someone who can make their voice feel heard.
It's amazing to see students find their voice and then use it.
Learning how to accept the fact that you cannot be absolutely perfect in every sector of life, and if you try to be, then that is going to crush your self-esteem. It's going to crush your confidence.
I took something so close to me, a hobby that I had like videography, and I ended up turning that into something that needed to be mass produced in order to keep my school program running and other things I was in charge of. So that was something that a true battle I had, and I thought it was important to show the message of a true connection and how that true connection I had with video allowed me to keep going even through all the hurdles that I experienced.
And when it's finally time to step on the stage, preparation turns into performance.
Girl said Laura Darwish. I got up. From the second I got up to the second I went back down in that seat, I don't really remember much. And I knew like I had one shot. I remember taking a deep breath and being like, I got this. Like, I've done this many times. So
It was a familiar experience, but I was, more than anything, I felt a lot of confidence in that moment. I just knew that I wanted to make a lasting impact.
Through stories, ideas, and experiences, these students are not just giving talks, they're learning how to use their voices. This is Rama Rahima for Husky Headlines.
Next, Salma tells us more about how local businesses have helped Overland Park become a great city.
Overland Park residents often praise the city for its high quality of life due to its schools, safety, and stability. Those working in City Hall recognize its highlights and appreciate rankings from various organizations.
So Overland Park, we receive lots of ratings of being best places for things. One of them is the second best place to live. Sometimes we're the first best. This last year, we're even one of the safest cities in America. We as a community have worked really hard to build a special place here in Overland Park. Proud of third-party organizations noticing and ranking us.
So Overland Park is an economic driver both for the Kansas City region and for Kansas. And we're really lucky that we have what I would call like a really special mix of really nice places to live, to include parks, trails, right, police, fire. You have really great jobs. You have really great healthcare in the area. So we have kind of like a nice Goldilocks setup of all of sort of the best things that people want in a really high quality place to live.
With the many accolades the city receives, Skoog and Ralph credit the residents of Overland Park for its success.
I think one of the reasons that Overland Park receives these high ratings is because the community has decided that quality of life is important. The residents and elected officials have made the decision over decades that we want a community that has great schools, great neighborhood, great job. And if you put all those together and then you throw in parks and trails, it really all adds up to a really amazing, special place. And all the credit goes to the decades of Overland Park residents who've been focused on that task.
Probably one of my favorite things, and something that I actually didn't know all that much about growing up here, is downtown Overland Park. It can get really easy to get into your little bubble of your neighborhood, but I definitely encourage people to get out and experience other parts of the city too.
It's easy to just say we're fine the way we are. A lot of cities make that decision, and I'm proud of this community to say that we want to be a successful community for generations to come.
The city of Overland Park has a lot to offer its community. Take time to explore some of the unknown gems. This is Salma Salem for Husky Headlines.
I'm honored to be the mayor of this incredible place and look forward to continuing to move it forward as the community envisions.
Wow, no wonder Overland Park was ranked the second best city in Kansas. It's a great place to live.
I totally agree. Next, we dive into sports with Claire, who tells us about the girls' diving team.
Girls diving, a sport that consists of athletes doing tricks and flips off of a diving board into water, has begun, and they are bouncing between schools and teams in order to get the proper training they need to start off the season strong.
At the beginning of a season, we're really working on basics and mechanics, working on approaches, so every dive has to have a front approach or a back approach. Those are the two basic things that they have to know. So we really work on hurdles, we work on jumps, we work on the mechanics of arms, body position, coming off the board and into the water. And then we really just kind of move into what are called their voluntary dives. So every diver has to have a voluntary dive in every category. So we start with our easiest dives and then we work our way up into harder dives.
I actually really like the fact that we go to different schools and we practiced with Blue Valley High, because I've met so many other girls through it and so many seniors, and I'm the only senior who does it from our school. So having those two other girls do every practice with me, it honestly doesn't feel like we're on separate teams at all.
It's different, but I really like it because there's like a lot more people and you get to know a lot of other people that do the same thing.
While the girls' diving team at BVNW is small, there are still athletes that do it, unlike boys diving in the winter, where there are no participants from Northwest.
I think girls are more attracted to diving than boys because it really caters or tailors to the girls who do gymnastics and cheerleading. So it's kind of a really natural flow into diving. And then once they realize that they can do everything they do on the floor, on the diving board and more, they get really excited about it.
You kind of have to be like a little flexible and be like familiar with flipping and stuff. And I feel like there's not as many guys that are familiar with flipping than girls.
I think a lot more boys would come out if they understood what it was all about. You know, all it takes is one daredevil boy to come out and be like, I'm going to try this, and more will come out.
If they do dive, they get to like show off at the pool, and like I feel like guys have actually like a better natural like ability because they're a little bit like more fearless. So I don't know, I think it's fun. They should do it. It's just a good environment. Like I'm not ashamed to like not know a dive. I'm not like ashamed to like do something bad and belly flop because it's obviously a joke and we all laugh it off. But yeah, I would just say we are like a pretty close group of people and it's fun.
Check out the girls diving team in action at the BVNW Relay Invitational on April 11th. This is Claire Blackington for Husky Headlines.
It's exciting to see our school continuing to grow its sports programs. Speaking of sports, let's check in with Game Day Guidance for this month's edition of HSN.
The smell of spring is in the air, and so is the spirit of all this Husky success. We have a lot to cover today, so let's recap our winter sports and preview the spring sports. With 12 wrestlers qualifying for the state championship tournament, the boys and girls teams demonstrated promising performances, securing 13th for the girls and 15th for the boys respectively. After a long, hard-fought season, the boys basketball team had a heartbreaking defeat at home for the first time this season, with a 69-67 loss against Olathe West in the opening round of Sub-State. Despite this loss, the future looks bright as the freshman team went undefeated this season. Now for some news from bowling. After 37 teams battled it out, only 9 earned a spot at state. One of those teams making history. The boys team made it to state for the first time. They finished strong, taking 6th place overall. The boys swim team wrapped up their season with a strong showing at state, finishing 9th overall. Cameron Hagan delivered a couple standout performances, securing 5th place in the 200 meter and an impressive 2nd place in the 100 meter fly. The girls swim and dive team kick off our spring sports coverage. They have a busy start to the season, opening with the Greg House Invitational at Blue Valley Southwest. Their most recent competition was yesterday at home for the Ozpaloo meet. Results were not available at press time. Their next meet isn't until the 17th at home. The boys baseball teams come out swinging this season. They kicked things off with a massive 12-7 victory against Glendale High School and kept the momentum going with a 10-0 shutout against Shawnee Mission East a week later. Now, they're set to defend their home turf tomorrow against Rockhurst. Batter up! The girls softball team launched their season with a home opener on March 31st against St. James Academy. Next up, they're heading into a showdown against Blue Valley West next Tuesday. Results were not available at press time. Varsity track has a roster brimming with promising athletes across all events this year. Their season kicked off on April 2nd at the Ottawa Invitational, and the team is gearing up for their next challenge this Friday at Blue Valley Relays. Results were not available at press time. The girls soccer team is hitting the ground running this season. In their season opener against Maranatha Christian, the soccer team mercy ruled them 8-0. Tomorrow, they're heading to Blue Valley West to play at their field. The golf team teed off their season on March 30th at Shawnee Mission East. Now, they're gearing up to head over to Washburn Rural for the Wamego tournament tomorrow at 1 p.m. Good luck out there on the green. And for some high-flying action, the boys tennis team is set to begin their season with a home opener against Shawnee Mission Northwest on March 24th. And make sure you don't miss their match tomorrow at Blue Valley Southwest, starting at 3:30. There's a sporting event happening nearly every day in the month of April, so make sure to go out and support our fellow Husky athletes. Stay sporty, Northwest. And don't worry, I didn't forget about girls basketball, as I tell you more about Reagan Becker and some of the success that the girls basketball team have had this season.
Although more than 20 years have passed, the spirit of the game remains as strong as ever for two talented female basketball players from different eras. It was a historic season for senior Reagan Becker, who broke several of, now assistant coach, Jessica Burton's records this season, and also eclipsed 1,146 points in her senior season.
I hadn't played very good in the first half, and so I was kind of questioning if I was even going to get there. But I had scored my 10th point, and I needed 11 to get it, and so I was in transition, and I just came down and I shot it, and I hit it, and I knew we were still down. So I wasn't really celebrating on the outside, like I was super proud of myself inside, but I knew we still had a game to play. And then I think the other team called timeout, and they like gave me a bunch of hugs and stuff, and my parents had like signs in the stands, so that was really cool.
Her record-breaking season and hard work is recognized by her teammates and coaches alike.
Full transparency, I've had, since I've been here, I've had on my radar, I've told all of my teams that all of these records still hold, and I don't want them to still be around. I feel way too old for my records to still be here. And so that game in particular, watching her point total kind of continue to increase, I was definitely watching it. And so being able to go and tell Coach Piggy, like, hey, we absolutely cannot pull her out. She has to break this. This is just too good. But like I told her in the moment, she did it. In 3 quarters, she gets all the praise, and so it was really, really special to be sitting there and to give her a big hug afterwards and to pass the torch, if you will.
Her breaking the record with Coach Des, I think that was extraordinary. I didn't even know what was happening during the game, and I was about to sub her out, and Coach Jess was like, she's a bucket away from breaking my point. So I thought that was cool that they embraced each other and they kind of talked it out. Throughout the season, she's been a great leader, scorer. She kind of carried us. She's had some tremendous games that people have thought about or dreamed about, where she had one against Olathe North where she had 33 points and 21 rebounds. She had games where she's had 23 points and 16 rebounds. She averaged 20 points and 10 rebounds and like 4 assists. So just her being able to impact the game in many ways has helped us grow, helped this team a lot this year.
It was really cool because I've been training with her and just like watching her train for honestly as long as I can remember, and finally like seeing like it written down on paper, like, and everyone celebrating it was cool, and she definitely deserves it more than like anyone I know because she's put in the work and the time.
In her final year as a Husky, Becker broke the single season scoring record with 510 points, the single game scoring record with 33 points, as well as the single game rebounding record with 21 off the glass.
I think they mean a lot just in general, like overall. Being a senior, yeah, I think it's kind of cool to do it senior year and stuff, and it is like my last high school season. But I mean, records are records, so they're kind of just cool to break, and so I was just grateful to be able to do it.
With multiple honors under her belt, including being named to the 6A All-State First Team by 2 different organizations and an official commitment to UCM, Becker is ready to take her talents to the next level. This is Jaden Gines for Husky Headlines.
So many student athletes are making a great impact on our school.
Speaking of impact, I got the opportunity to travel with the girls basketball team as they made their historic run to the state tournament.
The girls basketball team brought March Madness to Northwest the first week in March, qualifying for the state basketball tournament in Charles Koch Arena in Wichita, Kansas, for only the 4th time in school history.
The mindset the girls and I had was, we don't want our season to end. We knew it would eventually end, but we had a goal set at the beginning of the summer. And it was after the Bishop Miege game and how it ended that our girls was like, all right, something just clicked.
After knocking off the #1 seed undefeated Wichita Heights in the opening round of state 49-48, the Huskies found themselves in a historic position, making the Final Four for the first time in school history.
The plan was just make it our game. We knew if we made it an up and down game for most of it, that would fit into what they wanted to do. So we kind of slowed it down. The girls and the coaching staff really did a good job of coming up with a game plan that helped limit to some of the stuff we did, and we took one of their best players out, and it just worked out in our favor.
I'm super proud of us. We did something a lot of people didn't think we could do, and this entire run we were underestimated. We were lower seeds, or we had a lower record, and so I think we just kind of defied what everyone thought we could do, and I'm just proud of our team for being willing to do that.
In the semifinals, the Huskies took down the 5th seed Wichita East High School 54-49 and found themselves in the state championship game against Shawnee Mission South, where they lost 45-57.
Going into the game, we felt confident. We played them earlier in the year. It was a very close game. We lost to them by 3, but we had the ball down 1. Girls felt like we can go beat them. I think our girls played very well. They just made shots down the stretch, and we didn't make shots down the stretch. In the halftime, we was down 1, and I think we played that very well until for us to be down 1, so I thought we'd have a chance to go win it, and we just never could find the groove and hit some shots. But I was very proud of our girls because they could easily, when we went down 11 or 12, and just folded, but our girls didn't, and we just continued to work.
And right now, it obviously sucks because we weren't able to win, but it's definitely something to be proud of. Throughout the whole season, we've tried to get a mindset of we will win, especially through sub-state, and I think that's definitely got us this far, and just trying to keep a positive mindset even though when we were down, powering through that.
It took me a couple of days because I was still kind of upset and down about the game. I couldn't tell they were going to be upset. I just told them I was proud of them. I loved them. They did something that nobody's ever done in this school's history for girls basketball. What I'm proud of is that they had a goal that they set at the beginning in July, and then they reiterated it when we talked again in October and in November, and I'm proud that they reached that goal.
It's amazing. I'm still in shock and comprehending that it happened, but every step of the way we just had to beat this school and keep going and kind of pushing forward.
A historic run to the state championship game helped the girls create memories that strengthened the bonds with their teammates and their coaches.
Well, our coaches always tell us that coming into the postseason, everyone's 0-0. We all have an equal chance to do whatever it is. And so I'm just proud of us, and I'm happy that we had that mindset that was able to bring us this far, and a mindset a lot of people didn't have for us.
I think it started really strong just over the summer being in everything, and I think we clicked really well. I do think it kind of went a roller coaster. I don't think there were ever any super low points to it, but I do think we grew together, and I think after we lost senior night against Miege, we all kind of had to rally together and be like, hey, if we don't want our season to be over, we need to work together and we need to become closer as teammates and stuff and really love each other if we're going to go far. And I think that's what everybody kind of bought into, is just being a team and being together, and that was just cool to see how everybody could step up and play a crucial role.
I'm really happy that he was our coach this year. I feel like he allowed us to have a lot of fun on the court, and he definitely made me like basketball again, and he's definitely a great coach, and I'm really thankful for him.
To my seniors, I'm very, very proud of y'all. I love y'all. Y'all set a foundation for this school and program, and I wish the best for y'all.
The heights the girls basketball team reached throughout this season will leave a lasting impact on the history of the school for the years to come. This is Lily Mesmer for Husky Headlines.
Next, I got the opportunity to see a student who cooks unique food with her family.
In this month's edition of Husky Worldwide, we shed light on a student and her family's unique cooking.
Since I was 8, it started my mom would post these small things of just me chopping to the family group chats. And we do this daily. I would just cook with her.
Whenever they are bored or whenever I want them to engage, I was like, come on, let's cook. So with my first one, Hannah, so she's 16. I used to kind of teach her when she was little because I was like, oh, I need someone to know how to do this so they can help me. What I usually start with my kids is observing. I can't let them just sit down and just watch me cook. And then eventually I was like, can you cut this onion for me? Can you cut that? And just start getting them to use the knives. And then eventually, can you stir the soup? Can you see that? Can you add the seasoning? And then when they get to the stage where I was like, this is how you make it. I will write the recipe for them, or I'll have them watch it, and then I will have them write it down, and then they'll do it. And I feel like there's a stronger connection when you bring them into that. That makes them try to eat more, because they feel like, oh, I did this by myself. It's like accomplishment.
Her passion stems from watching her mom cook and the meals they create together.
Usually we cook a mix between street food. Some examples would be puff puff, which is this ball, and it's like a puffy donut. And then there's fufu, or some people call it tuo. You can make it from different things, and you pour certain soup, and that's also a big main dish. So we cook a variety of food.
This meal can be served anytime. So I just get yams from Houston, just because Houston has a lot, and you can pretty much make a lot of things from the yam. You can make fufu from it. You can actually boil it. You can fry it. I'm planning to dip it in eggs and fry it. So kids love the one with the eggs. I'll make some little sauce like onion, peppers, just to go with that, so we can dip with the sauce.
Rilwan shares her talents in the kitchen with her friends throughout her food.
It's brought so many relationships and connections, especially when I go back home. I always feel like I know these foods and I feel welcome. And honestly, it's opened so many relationships. Me and my friends will be sharing other different types of cuisines and just trying each other's foods. I just kind of grown appreciation for my culture.
She'll just bring me something and I'm I'll have it, but I don't really know how it's made. She'll describe how her mom made it and about how good it is.
From showing her friends to cooking with her mom, Rilwan made connections by creating a community that is always wanting to explore more of her culture. This is Lily Mesmer for Husky Headlines.
A former Husky student is returning to Northwest in a new role.
Kate talked to a student teacher about his journey.
Being visually impaired hasn't stopped a student teacher here at Northwest from mentoring his students. Liam Thurlby leads the classroom by challenging the assumptions of his disability.
A paper, and you put it up to your eye,
It's like seeing through a very, very narrow tunnel. The hole out of the tunnel is very, very far away.
Mr. Thirlby works closely with history teacher Bart Bates.
And my job is to teach him what I've learned in my time as a teacher and help him get better at his skills. So a lot of times it's just looking at issues, looking at problems, looking at concerns, and just talking about different ways you can handle it.
It's very much of privilege for me to work with Mr. Bates. He's so experienced, he's so nice, so flexible. He is so accommodating to me. He tells me so many good things about what student teachers should expect, what student teachers should do.
He might face many struggles throughout the day at school, but he figures out how to overcome them in any way he can.
One of the big ways it affects my daily life is that I will have to learn how to navigate, such as grading assignments or taking attendance or doing classroom management.
Thirlby uses Braille to read his students' work.
The dots raised into the Braille that you guys feel when you are in class. Where I read something in Braille from left to right, type the Braille dots myself from right to left.
We have little cards that have our name in Braille where he's able to read off our names. I can tell that he's definitely very passionate about what he teaches. He's very informational about all that he talks about, and he makes sure that everybody understands what we're talking about in class.
Thirlby was adopted at 13 from China, grew up in America, and graduated here at Northwest. His mother as a teacher influences Thirlby to be the best teacher he can be.
He's very much a perfectionist, which is nice because I don't have to worry too much about pushing him to do the things he says he wants to do. He loves school, loves the school environment. You just recognize that someone's going to have to take a chance on him.
So many opportunities for him out there. You know, being a traditional classroom teacher, I mean, he could be a great inspirational speaker for other students that have visual challenges.
But I hope to teach high school, and my ideal teaching that I hope to work towards is high school government.
For Thirlby's students, the most memorable lesson may not be found in a textbook, but in the example set at the front of the class every day. This is Kate Dawson for Husky Headlines.
For this month's edition of H2 Versus, Rylan takes us down to the art hallway for some friendly competition.
Welcome back to this month's edition of H2 Versus, where we put Northwest's most talented students and staff up against our very own H2 staff member. This month is Mental Health Awareness Month, so what's a better way to relieve stress than with expression through art? Staff member Scarlett Chu took a trip to the art hall with sophomore Alton Budmev.
I feel like I've been into art as long as I remember. I can't even begin to name a time where I wasn't painting. I feel like I've just always been very interested in the arts, ever since I was a child. I was just painting, constantly in arts and crafts. I don't know, I've always been interested in art classes. I just feel like it's my favorite form of expression. It's just everything that you want to say without actually having to say it. It's just my freedom, honestly.
Budmev's passion for art is something she takes pride in and is hoping to secure a future in as well.
So I have taken drawing 1, I'm in drawing 2, graphic design 1, graphic design 2, digital imaging 1, digital imaging 2. I took painting 2, and I'm in jewelry 1 right now. I am in fashion club. I do a lot of things outside of school. I make prom dresses. I kind of just design things for my portfolio. I'm just super into that. I'm planning to go to university for fashion design, somewhere in Europe, I believe. And I hope to pursue that and become a designer in the future.
Budmev puts her artistic skills to use when teaching Chu how to paint.
I feel like Scarlett did super well. I did not expect her to pick up, on the shadows and all the colors so well. It's kind of insane.
I have painted before in, elementary school art classes and stuff like that. And when I was younger, I also did take art classes. Not for painting specifically, but just for, drawing in general. But I don't really paint for fun or anything serious like that. Me and Alton painted lilies on a canvas with acrylic paint, and she just talked a lot about, depth and shadow, and I learned a lot about color theory, what colors will make certain colors appear darker or lighter in ways that I didn't think of before.
Painting went very well, but when it comes to learning something new, there are always ups and downs.
I think overall as a whole, the whole thing I think went better than I thought it would. I haven't painted in probably years actually, and so just the fact that I was able to paint something that resembles a flower I think was an accomplishment. Something that I definitely struggled a lot with was the colors and mixing them together. Alton would she'd just pick up the paint and then it would just magically turn into the exact color she needed, but I was struggling, especially with the color theory and what is supposed to go into the paint to make it look a certain way.
The real question is, does Chu have a future in becoming the next Picasso?
I don't think I have a future in painting just because of the amount of commitment you have to dedicate towards it and just the time it takes to perfect your craft. Although I do think painting is a ton of fun and is definitely something I want to do more just for fun in my free time, but I don't think I have a future in it.
Unfortunately, painting just isn't for Chu and will stick to dance as her form of art.
This is my Lily.
Next time you need a way to relieve stress, grab a friend, some paint, and a canvas. This is Rylan Jara for Husky Headlines.
Julia tells us more about a teacher who's been decorating the Kansas City area.
Each spring, Kansas City celebrates local creativity through the Parade of Hearts, and this year, one of those hearts comes from right here at Northwest.
My design was kind of inspired by there being two states that kind of share a city, because my design is called Two States, One City. So that was kind of like my beginning inspiration. And I kind of used colors that I use a lot in my own artwork, but also ones that were reminiscent of Kansas City sports teams, like the Chiefs and the Royals and the Current and Sporting KC. And I also looked at the FIFA World Cup website and saw that they had a lot of circles on their website as far as their design. And I used a lot of circles in my own artwork. So I thought, perfect, I will also put some circles on there. We'll have to do any touch-ups if necessary, and then they are auctioned off. So they're auctioned off to people, businesses, maybe where you had on display, maybe they decide they want it there permanently.
Back in November, LaValle received her blank heart and began turning her design into a tribute for community and art.
This was a big process as far as coming up with initial designs, getting selected, picking up the piece, putting it in our garage, painting it in the middle of winter in a cold garage. I mean, I think there's just a lot that goes into it, and her dedication is pretty amazing, and I think it's wonderful that she can share that with the community as well as students here. I hope it inspires them, but also shows them the dedication and the grit and everything that goes into it, to be a successful artist like LaValle.
You can visit her finished heart along with dozens of others across the metro this month as the 2026 Parade of Hearts kicks off. This is Julia Haney for Husky Headlines.
That's all for this month's edition of Husky Headlines.
Have a great day, Northwest.